This is a breaking news alert from 24-Hour News 8.
Breaking right now, police are searching a house in connection with a double murder in Kentwood.
This is police release this sketch, a person of interest in David and Vivian Bauman's murder in their Kentwood home over the weekend.
24-Hour News 8's Heather Walker is live near 52nd and Stauffer, where police are right now, just a few blocks from where that couple was murdered. Heather?
Yeah, now this person of interest that they are looking for on Vicksburg Court isn't necessarily that sketch, not necessarily that same person that you saw in that sketch we just showed you. But neighbors here in Princeton Estates came home to really shocked seeing so much police presence once again in their neighborhood. They say around 4:30, police blocked off Vicksburg Court. That's where they are searching right now, where we just learned they are they are executing a search warrant in relation to the murder of the Baumans. Now, I want you to take a look at this map. I'll show you just how close where police are searching right now is to where the murder happened. It's about a 2-minute drive from where police are searching right now, serving out this warrant to where the murders happened, or about a 10-minute walk. Very close, and right now neighbors are just watching and waiting, waiting to hear the results of this search, and hopefully tonight they can bring this all to a close and solve this murder that has rocked this neighborhood. We will continue to stay on this. Once again, Kentwood police out here in the Princeton neighborhood serving a search warrant for a person of interest related to the murders. Live in Kentwood tonight, Heather Walker, 24-Hour News 8.
Heather, thank you. We want to focus also on this sketch that was released earlier today. This is the sketch of a man who police say was there when the murder victim's stolen car was set on fire. 24-Hour News 8's Leon Hendricks continues our team coverage on this angle live from Kentwood tonight. Leon?
That's right, Brian. Police giving every indication today that this case is very active, and they have no doubt they're going to track down the suspect responsible for these people's murders. They released this sketch today during a news conference, and Police Chief Tom Hillen made it very clear that he has a message for this man. Turn yourself in before we come find you.
Today, the crime scene where a couple in their 80s was murdered looks almost normal, except for the flowers placed out front by those impacted by the horrific crime that happened here. And while it is cold outside, investigators say this case is anything but.
We're not stalled on this, so I remain optimistic that we'll get a conclusion to it.
Kentwood's new police chief taking to the airwaves for the third day in a row, this time with another key lead in his hand, a photo of a man who police say is a person of interest in the Bauman's murder. He was seen near the Bauman's stolen car before it was set ablaze. Police say one witness got a close enough look to give the description that produced this sketch. Police say they don't know who the man is, but they have a message for him.
It's always in your best interest to come forward and tell us what you know before we track you down.
It's been a challenging case for the police, answering the question of who killed David and Vivian Bauman this past weekend.
You'll get a lead that you think is pretty hot, only to find out it's pretty cold.
And they think this man may be the key to the answer.
We're confident somebody knows who this is. I mean, every day we get a little closer.
Now, police did give some more detailed information about this man. Take a listen and take a look at the picture that's on your screen. We know he's a light-skinned black male. We're told he's about 6 foot tall, in his 30s perhaps. His beard there had some gray peppered in it. He was wearing a red scarf and a tan hat. So again, anyone with information on that part of the case is asked to call police or Silent Observer if you want to remain anonymous. Reporting live at the Kentwood Police Department, Leon Hendricks, 24-Hour News 8.
Leon, thank you. We are going to continue to follow every development in this case, and you can stay connected by downloading our app on your phone and turning breaking news alerts on. Storm Team 8 has been telling us about this warm-up on the way for the past week, and now it is here. Rain isn't far off either. Chief Meteorologist Bill Steffen is here with what we can expect tonight. Hi, Bill.
Well, Sue, I just stepped outside a couple of minutes ago. Cloudy skies, an easterly breeze, and fairly mild temperatures for January. Let's take a look at Storm Track Live and show you what's coming. We continue to track the rainfall totals down in Indiana, and most of this initial batch is very light. In this area, they've only had less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. So as this comes up over the area this evening, we're not expecting any heavy rain, but just a scattering of light showers, with some of this actually being aloft. So let's see if we can stop it here for just a second, and we'll see if we can track a little bit of this for you. The leading sprinkles not too far away from Kalamazoo, but this area right here could make it up into Grand Rapids in a couple, 3 hours or so. So we got a couple of hours yet where not much is going to be going on. The heavier, steadier rain is still a good 3-4 hours away from the Kalamazoo area, and we will see more rain after midnight than we will see before midnight. We're still at 40 degrees in Grand Rapids. Temperatures in the upper 30s to our south will fall to around 35 and then hold steady. If you're up around Big Rapids, keep an eye on the temperature this evening. You should get down around 32. There is a slight chance you could see an hour or two of freezing rain before temperatures start upward. Here in Grand Rapids, again, temperatures around 40 now. We'll see readings fall to the mid-30s here this evening. Coming up, we're going to talk about a big change in our weather. There is some snow in the Storm Team 8-day forecast.
Unsanitary and allegedly unsafe conditions forced the city of Muskegon to shut down an abortion clinic tonight. Target 8's hearing for the first time from a mom who paid for an abortion there 3 years ago, only to later learn that she was still pregnant. We want to warn you, some of the details in this story are disturbing. Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker joins us live in studio. Ken?
Brian, when Sharia McLeod greeted us at her door in Muskegon today, her 3-year-old son was right behind her.
2, 3, 4.
He's a special baby. Yeah, I love my baby. I mean, because he's a baby that I wasn't really expecting to have, but I love my baby.
Records show it happened in April 2009. McLeod already had 2 sons.
A reason why I got the abortion is because I'm high risk. Every child I have had, I had toxemia or had gestational diabetes.
So she went to Dr. Alexander's office not far from where she lives.
Here's the consent form from Dr. Alexander.
And paid $320 up front.
And he tried to put me in a room. It was blood all over the floor, all on the table. And I said, "Are you serious? I'm not supposed to lay on this table."
She says it was just like the photos that city inspectors took at the clinic before shutting it down last month.
The conditions that I seen on the computer, it was like that when I went in there.
Sharia McLeod's name shows up in Muskegon County court records, along with the name of another woman. They were both represented by an attorney trying to force the doctor to turn over their medical records, records he apparently lost. The attorney alleged that the other woman had an abortion with Dr. Alexander in 2008, but that 8 hours later, she was in the hospital, still pregnant, and that doctors delivered a stillborn baby missing its skull, brain, and other body parts. McLeod says the doctor also botched her abortion.
When I left, I thought that the procedure was done because when I came home, I was bleeding.
About a month later, severe cramps sent her to the ER, where doctors did an ultrasound.
I was shocked. I mean, I seen the baby on the ultrasound and said, "It's a boy." I was 31 weeks pregnant. That's a shocking feeling.
She says she was scared and she cried a lot.
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared to have no baby. I didn't have nothing for him.
In a report obtained by Target 8, a doctor who treated McLeod wrote his opinion that Dr. Alexander was grossly negligent and could have killed her. On July 17, 2009, 4 months after the apparent abortion, she had Jeremiah by emergency C-section. 6 pounds, 13 ounces, and healthy.
I look at my child. I love my child, you know. He's only 3, but he was a baby that I wasn't supposed to have.
We reached Dr. Alexander by phone today. In previous interviews, he said his clinic was quote-unquote pristine, but today he refused to comment. Alexander has said he will not reopen the clinic, though we do not know if he's practicing elsewhere. The state is investigating Alexander right now based on an unspecified complaint filed last September. It's a story we will continue to follow. I'm Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker.
The battle over the nation's budget and debt is about to get even more intense in Washington.
Today, a West Michigan politician deeply involved in the debate is telling us, get ready for some dramatic cuts.
Political reporter Rick Albin joins us in studio with details on this, Rick.
If this happens, it would really be precedent-setting because nothing like this has happened before. Congressman Fred Upton is one of a handful of Republican leaders that served on the super committee that tried to avert the so-called fiscal cliff. He is also one of the few close to the ongoing talks in the nation's capital, and what he thinks will happen could have a big impact on the country and beyond.
The tax side, the revenue side, is now done.
Upton says the deal to make tax cuts permanent wasn't perfect, but it was an effective way to deal with the revenue side of the budget equation. Now comes the spending question, and for that he has this big prediction.
My sense is that you'll see this sequester take place.
One of the men closest to the issue on Capitol Hill says those automatic spending cuts will happen.
And the sequester is a 10% cut across the board, divided between defense and non-defense.
With the exception of things like Social Security, veterans benefits, food stamps, Medicaid, and a few others, most programs will be cut.
Foreign aid, military, everything else, about a 10% cut. I see that happening.
Well, I am concerned.
It's not just the cuts that concern Governor Rick Snyder. He says that the atmosphere in Washington creates a danger to the economy.
And the biggest thing holding back businesses from saying they want to invest more or grow more or hire more people is the mess in Washington. Because with that uncertainty, they're saying, hey, we want to be careful. And what's going on is, if it's not handled right, Washington could drive us back into a recession, which would be a terrible outcome.
No matter the outcome, it's clear the impact of what happens in Washington will be felt well beyond Capitol Hill. If Upton is right and those automatic cuts move forward, that means that almost every agency at the federal level will see a cut. We just don't know how those cuts will manifest themselves here on the local level, and it's something that we'll be watching closely right along with you.
Okay, Rick, thank you. A string of suspicious fires at a Kent County apartment complex will update you on where the investigation stands. Up next.
I realized when I was dismissing this, I knew I'd be getting these questions.
A Calhoun County prosecutor speaks to 24-Hour News 8 about the drunk driving case against a Battle Creek cop and his decision to drop the most severe charges.
Watching out for you on air, online, on the go. This is 24-Hour News 8.
We want to get straight to breaking news right now in Kentwood. The chief of police there talking about what's happening with the Bauman murders. Let's listen in.
You know, all I can tell you right now is that this particular person is currently wanted for home invasion and an unlawful driving away of an auto and some other charges as well. But, you know, that and coupled with being in this neighborhood and some other leads that we've developed makes it a proper for it this time to execute that warrant.
It's a similar crime.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of similarities here.
Do you believe this is the same person from the sketch?
I don't know yet. I don't believe so.
Do you know if anybody's home right now?
I don't believe anybody's home right now.
Do we know a motive yet?
A motive? Well, you know, all we're doing right now is executing the search warrant based upon the evidence we have. So I don't know if this person is involved or not involved.
Does the person of interest live at that address?
He's known to have resided there.
But he's not there currently.
Well, you know, we won't know until we actually get into the house and clear it. I don't believe he's there.
So you haven't been in the house yet?
Well, officers were in the process of doing that. It takes some time to clear the house room by room, you know, for their own safety as well before the other detectives go in there and actually execute the search warrant.
You're saying this is a different person of
Yes,
interest,
sir.
though, than the sketch? A different person of interest?
We believe that, yes.
What do you think this, I mean, 4 news stations are here. What do you think this kind of response from the community, from neighbors, from us, from your officers, says about the community's need for answers or want for answers right now?
You know, I know the community, you know, wants us to get behind this thing. They want us to get after this. You have been very diligent in getting the word out, which is getting the tips to us so that we can do our job. And we're trying to move quickly on evidence or statements that we have, and that's what you see taking place right now.
Was it a tip or any sort of piece of evidence that led you to the house tonight?
You know, it really was a combination of tips and other factors, like the subject, you know, currently being wanted, currently living in the area. All those things, you know, make it a pretty creditable event.
Can you elaborate a little on what
he was wanted for again? Home invasion, when did that occur?
I don't have all those, you know, that information right now, but
The
we'll be
address
able to run it for you.
right to James, Dora, and Tanya Baker. Are you looking for any of those people?
No.
How long have your officers been on scene here?
And not very long, probably a half hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Being assisted by anybody else?
Not at this time.
Is this the most promising development so far, or is this just one of many?
You know, it's one of many. You know, until you get into these things, until you execute the search warrant, I don't know what we're going to find and what we're not going to find. But we're just trying to be diligent and get out there and get it done.
Are you thinking you might find property that's missing from the residents of the Baumanns?
You know, we haven't even said that anything was taken from the Baumanns, but we're just hoping that, you know, if there's evidence of crime there, we need to get it, and that's what we're doing.
Thanks, Chief.
Sure.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
That's Kentwood Police Chief Tom Hillen. Heather Walker is also standing by. Heather, recap, we came into that press conference just after it started. They got a tip, and they're also doing their investigation. It led them to a person of interest just blocks away from the crime scene.
Yes. So they gave us address 2389 Vicksburg Court. That's where they're searching. And that home belongs to a James and Dora Baker. Now, we asked the chief if he was looking for those people, and he said no. We asked what the connection was, and he said the person that they're looking for once resided there. So right now, he said they are in the home. They're going through the home room by room. They don't know yet if anyone is there. They're going by room for their safety, and then they're going to tell us the latest.
Okay, so Chief Hillen telling us basically that they're going through the house right now. They're taking a look. They would not say when asked whether or not they were looking for something specific, but right now simply going through that home, trying to find any lead that they may have connected to this case. Is that right?
Exactly. And he also said that picture, the sketch that's been out that we have on our website that we've been showing people, he says that is not the person that they are looking for here in the Princeton Estates. That is another person.
And this is a tantalizing development because this was, you know, again, this is in the very neighborhood where this crime happened, Heather, and the chief, as I understood it, was talking about that this individual they're looking for has been involved in similar kind of break-ins, driving vehicles away from the home. A lot of the what we saw, the details in this particular case with the Baumanns.
Exactly. He did say that. He said they were involved, but he wasn't giving any more specifics about that.
All
okay.
right.
Heather Walker reporting live for us from Kentwood. We'll continue to track this. Of course, these developments coming in the deaths of David and Vivian Baumann. They were found in their home on Stowe Valley Drive on January 5th. Their Cadillac was burned out about 4 miles away from that scene. We will continue to track this and pass along the information just as soon as we get it.
Yep. We'll have it here and online at woodtv.com, and we'll be right back.
Watching out for you. This is Storm Team 8.
Well, grab the umbrella if you're heading out here tonight, and especially for the morning commute tomorrow. A lot of rain on the way. Let's take a look at Storm Track Live. The rain in Indiana, for the most part, has been quite light. You see a lot of light green here. Some of this is actually aloft. We'll stop right here for just a second and track the leading edge of the sprinkles up into Kalamazoo in 46 minutes. This up into the Grand Rapids area in about 2 hours and a half, or anytime after about 8:30, we could be seeing some rain here in the Grand Rapids area, though initially this rain will be fairly light. The more significant rain comes after midnight tonight. Next couple of hours ought to be dry in Grand Rapids. Temperatures fall to the mid-30s. Will be barely above freezing here as the rain starts. You'll see some rain this evening in Kalamazoo with your temperature at about 35 as the rain moves in. Current temperatures already down in the 30s, I-94 and south away from the lake. And also off to the north, we're particularly concerned up around the Big Rapids, Mount Pleasant area. Temperatures here should cool to around 32. I know the ground's been warm from a warm day today, but you may very well get a little bit of icing on some of the trees up there for a couple of hours before temperatures start upward here before daybreak. Winds east-southeast, they'll hold up tonight and then shift to the south as we bring in some unseasonably mild air for tomorrow. So once again, rain overnight tonight, a wet commute tomorrow. Rain on Sunday morning will likely change over to a bit of a mix. There could be some slippery spots on the roads Sunday morning. Much cooler weather arrives here for next week. Over the next 24 hours, you can see the rain that comes up across the area. A little bit of a mix here. You can see in that purple color a possibility off to the north. The mix is all gone by daybreak, and you can see the heaviest rain moves out here come tomorrow morning, leaving us with lighter showers and sprinkles for the afternoon. Rainfall totals across the area should generally be around ½ an inch here. So again, keep the umbrella handy for tonight and tomorrow. The rain will diminish to just a few sprinkles here for the midday period and afternoon. So once again, here's your forecast temperatures. Again, unseasonably warm weather. January thaw. Record highs Friday and Saturday are 55. Much different afternoon on Sunday. There'll be some slick spots on the roads as temperatures fall to the mid-20s here by evening. Cool weather expected next week. Some light snow will get the ground white again here by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Got lots more for you, including sports, straight ahead.
Four fires in just 1 month have attracted the attention of investigators in Kent County.
All four happened in garages at the Woodfield complex located at 60th and Eastern in Gaines Township. 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey is live with more on what officials are saying about the fires. Joe?
Yeah, Sue, tonight definitely one is arson. They have not determined the exact cause of the others, and they're not ignoring the circumstances. The first fire was called in just before noon on December 10th. Flames tore through a row of garages at Woodfield. Crews were able to stop the flames from taking out the entire row. 1 week later, just before midnight on December 17th, someone came back and finished the job. A third fire hit a row of garages at Woodfield East, just across Eastern Avenue, at about 11:30 on the night of January 2nd. Then, last night, just before 10, this row of garages burned.
We don't want to see it go any farther than this.
So far, investigators with the State Fire Marshal's office have only been able to confirm the December 17th fire officially as arson. But there's obvious concerns over the others.
A couple of the first ones, there were a couple of vehicles that they were parked in there, so they were lost. But again, most of it's just stuff that they need storage for.
We tried to talk to management at the complex, but were told to leave. As the chief said, so far only stuff has been burned. There's been no injuries and no occupied dwellings have caught fire. But firefighters know just how quickly that can change. They've seen examples, like the 2010 arson spree in Grand Rapids. Joseph McIntyre went to prison for setting 9 of 11 suspicious fires during the summer of 2010. It all started with a few apartment complex garages.
If it is someone setting, we want to nip it in the bud and bring it to an end.
So what do you do if you do live in the complex? Well, the chief says it's pretty simple. If you see something suspicious, somebody suspicious, pick up the phone and call police. Live in Gaines Township, Joe LaFurgey, 24-hour News 8.
There is some fallout from Brian Kelly's interview with the Philadelphia Eagles. A Notre Dame recruit who was expected to move into the dorms this Sunday has decommitted and will go to Florida instead. Alex Anzalone, a top 50 linebacker from Pennsylvania is his name. Kelly is out of the country on vacation. ESPN reports he is expected to meet with the Eagles again when he returns. In the meantime, the Eagles interviewed former Bears coach Lovie Smith today, and CBS Radio says the Bears are also interested in talking to Brian Kelly. There's another job market on the market in the NFL if Kelly wants to make the jump there. Jacksonville Jaguars fired Mike Mularkey after just one season. Jaguars finished 2-14 under Mularkey. College basketball, Michigan State is at Iowa tonight. Perhaps that ugly loss at Carver Hawkeye from 2 years ago still fresh on the mind of Derek Nix. The Spartan senior went as far as to say a loss tonight could be deadly to MSU's chances of winning another Big Ten championship. Spartans have three very winnable games coming up in the next week. It's a crucial stretch for Tom Izzo, but he says this one won't be that easy.
I said at the beginning of the year, I think my first press conference, I thought Iowa would be one of the more improved teams in the league. And I think they've answered that and more. And so with all that being said, it leaves you to realize when you're me that it's going to be a hell of a year in this conference.
7 o'clock start for Michigan State. Meanwhile, at Michigan, Wolverines have matched their best start in school history. Last night's 62-47 win over Nebraska upped their record to 16-0. It certainly wasn't their best performance, but with Ohio State up next, John Beilein and the Wolverines very happy to get this win against Nebraska.
We stuck it out. First half, shots weren't falling. Second half, shots weren't falling. But, we did what we needed to do on the defensive end. And, we stayed together, and that was the biggest thing. And, when Coach said it's going to be some nights when shots aren't